Hey, what's going on guys? My name's Anthony or Big B Stats, and today I want to talk to you guys about Piggy Book 2, Chapter 2, and my predictions on where I think it will take place. I'm also going to be talking about Piggy Book 1, Chapter 1, which took place in the alleys, so this video will contain spoilers, so I hope you are caught up on the series. We have a video of us escaping it and talking a bit about the story and showing off all secrets. If you did miss those videos, I will link them down below in the description. Also guys, before we get started, I want to let you know that we launched a brand new Piggy Movies channel, which is currently at 12.6 thousand subscribers, really trying to push this to 20,000. So if you haven't headed over there and subscribed, we actually just uploaded a brand new video called The Boss Backstory, so that actually ties into a complete series we've been doing on Pickle Rick and Mr. P. I don't want to spoil too much, but you should definitely check it out. I think you're gonna really enjoy it. So Chapter 1 Alleys was incredible. It was a lot of fun. Minitoon definitely delivered and the team, so if you are watching this, amazing job on it. There was also new items which made the map quite difficult because we didn't actually know what to do, where to find these items, and it was just fun. It was very refreshing, and the graphics also changed too, which you can change in the settings to high and low graphics. So it was just overall an amazing chapter. So let's just get straight into it. So how does Chapter 1 actually ends? So it ends when you finally catch Willow. Now I have a video that I'm going to be breaking down the character Willow, so make sure you are subscribed to the channel so you will know more about Willow and the character. I have a pretty huge secret that I want to share with you guys in that video, so be on the lookout for it. So when you make it to the end with Doggy, Officer Doggy, shall I say, because this whole Chapter 1, at least half of it, well actually the whole Chapter 1 takes place in the past. Now what I mean by in the past is that if we go to Piggy Book 1, Chapter 1, which is like the house and the station, that's more like something that happened in the future. Of course, when we were playing it, we felt like it was the present time, but remember when we went to the station and we were talking about another officer, and we did have that conversation with him in Chapter 3, and then we rewind back in Chapter 3, Book 1, he talked about, you know, the arrest we made in the alleyway. So now we get a flashback episode of that arrest, and that arrest is Willow and Rash, of course, Rash the raccoon. So how does it end? It ends when you're talking to Willow. You say, Willow, you're under arrest for stealing food and other supplies from all over the city. So that is very unfortunate that, you know, Willow is getting arrested for this, for stealing food and other supplies all over the city. And Willow replies saying, I was only trying to feed my family, please. So you have definitely some sympathy here for Willow too, and you do too, and you say, you know the laws, Willow, I'm sorry. Now Rash is also showing up, and Willow's like, hey, stand down, Rash, it's not worth it. So Rash appears to be the partner, and Rash is like, what? Why? They'll take us away. And then Doggy's like, we'd rather do that than take you out. So Officer Doggy was not playing any games, and Rash is like, you haven't seen The Last of Us. So it seems like maybe they're also going to be holding a little bit of a grudge here. But again, the next video I'm going to be breaking down a lot more of where these characters could possibly be, and if we'll see these characters again. So Doggy also says, you know, he knows, he understands, but unfortunately that's kind of like how these things go. And we're like, is there anything we can do about it? And Doggy's just like, you know, we have a role to play. We're officers, you know, some people break the rules, and we're kind of the one to really fix it. So yeah, we just do things because we have to, not because we want to. And then Doggy says, let's get out of here. And that is where it actually ends, right there. That is how Chapter 1 ends in the past. That's the flashback. Now we fast forward to the present moment. Now, what I mean by present moment is after we beat Chapter 12 in Book 1, this is where it's picking up off of next. Of course, some time actually passed by, but in this area here, which again, this could possibly be like the safe place, kind of like where you're kind of barricaded in. It kind of looks like it's in the city as well. I do want to say that one, like kind of like right before we went to the mall, it does look like this. But you do have this cutscene where you see Giraffe, Mimi, George. We also see Zizzy, not Zizzy. We also see Zizzy, Zoo, and Z as well, and we see Pony, and this is like the new outfits that also everyone has. Now, how does this chapter completely and fully end? So it happens to end with Mimi says, yep, We just need to find some batteries for it because they talked about an old radio. And also I want to mention that you were kind of like daydreaming in this, and you were kind of having that thought and having that flashback of the chapter of making that arrest in the alleyway. Also, Mimi did mention that, do you remember that old radio we found from one of our supply runs? So that was also a mention to you as well from Mimi. So something to do with the radio. Again, they need batteries for it. Now, Pony and Zizzy ended with saying, Pony and I are going to the store to get some. Did you want to come along? So this is where we left off at. Pony and Zizzy are going off on a supply run. So it looks like chapter 2 is going to begin with a supply run, and it looks like the two characters you're going to be with during this is going to be Pony and Zizzy. Now, one thing I do want to point out is if we rewind back and go to the Piggy Book 2 trailer, there's like 6 or 7 scenes, right? And the doors, which we kind of thought about this too. And it could be that the door is going to be based off of each character, because in the very first door, we saw Officer Doggy. And then in the second door, we saw Zizzy. Third door was Willow. Fourth door was George, and the fifth was Pony. And then it kind of goes that little flash of Ghost Bunny, and then it goes to like this cure of what we think is the actual cure. So chapter 2, where could it take place? Where could we possibly be going? Well, we know we're going on a supply run to get batteries. Now, one thing I do want to point out, what I thought was quite interesting, and I'm not sure if anyone really actually thought about this, but what if we go to one of the other chapters, but that other chapter is actually abandoned? Now, at this point in time, it doesn't look like it's winter time, so I don't know if that snow scene, or let's say the scene, with Pony in the trailer is going to be coming up later down the road, which I'm also thinking, and if so, that would be around chapter 5 at least. So summer would pass and then winter would be coming up. So let's think about this supply run. What if we go to one of the other maps, but that other map is like run down and abandoned? That would be really cool. And the cool thing about this is that it's funny that we're looking for batteries. And guess what was the first map that we actually got batteries introduced in Piggy? Chapter 2. Chapter 2 in book 1. The police station. So that's very interesting there, that we're going out to look for batteries. We're going out to look for batteries in chapter 2, and the first time batteries was introduced was chapter 2 in Piggy Book 1. So very, very interesting stuff there. So maybe we'll end up going to some type of store, some type of warehouse or something nearby. It depends on how far we're going to be going from this actual place, but I don't think it's going to be that easy of us going to the store just getting some batteries. I don't think anyone works there. Maybe there will be some characters or something like that, of course, like a new skin that will be infected wherever we are. But if we do look at the trailer, it looks like something may happen with Zizzy. Yes, because Zizzy shows up in the trailer and is kind of like ready to fight. And that next clip is Willow. I definitely think we're gonna run back into Willow at some point, because think about this for a second. Willow, we made this arrest in the flashback. We're in the present time. We have no idea where Willow is. So that means in chapter 2, the station in Piggy Book 1, Willow has already escaped from the prison. So that's something to also think about. So I do think we will bump into Willow again. It's just a matter of when. And I think that's either going to be chapter 2 or chapter 3 based off of the trailer with these flashbacks. So let's say, what if we go into a place looking for supplies and Willow is in that place gathering supplies? And I think Willow is also going to be a different character when we meet Willow again, and not the nice character that we've seen before. But again, I'm going to get into more details about Willow the character and what I think in another video. So again, chapter 2 could take place in a warehouse. Maybe it's actually, let's say we're in the city. There was actually the mall, which was the next map. So what if it's like another abandoned mall? You're going back to the mall? Would be really cool. I know mall is a very popular map. So what if mall is actually run down and already like deserted, depending on what time has passed? That would be really cool. So yeah, definitely a supply run is going to be happening. And yeah, I think we're going to be definitely near a warehouse, near some type of store, or somewhere where we definitely are going to get batteries. Maybe it's another police station, maybe the LPD department. Who knows? I'm going to get into more detail about the LPD as well, so you guys will know and understand exactly who that is and what they are. But let's go ahead and look at the comments and see what you guys think about chapter 2. So this first comment was by Axel GSHDX, and they says prediction/theory. I think the TVs weren't about the eyes because there was no color white, and I think that in the next map, I think it'll be a supermarket because of the ending of chapter 1 in book 2. They said they will be going to buy some batteries for the radio. My other theory is that I think that the Willow is part of TSP, and I think that TSP stands for the Spy Protectors. Ooh, and some group of criminals, if I think so. Sorry, Willow. I think it doesn't make sense that in book 1 we meet Zizzy and Pony, but in book 2, before it all started, we are already friends with Zizzy and Pony. I hope Big B sees this. Thank you so much for reading my theory. I hope you have a wonderful day. By the way, sub to Big B Stats and use code BIGB2. By the way, have a good day. Username 08XEL50. I subbed and liked. Buddy, you are amazing. Thank you so much for that prediction, and I really appreciate that support for using my star code BIGB2, subbing and liking. Look, buddy, you're a legend, and I love that theory. This next theory was by Dragon Reaper, and they said, I think the chapter 2 is going to be a store. Ooh. Ivan Play says, I think chapter 2 will be a jail or a store, because in the ending of chapter 1, Willow and Rash get arrested, but in the ending it also says that you, Pony, and Zizzy go to the store to get batteries. So yeah, it looks like we're going to be going towards the store, but remember, the first part was a flashback, so again, we're going to bump into Willow again at some point during the story. I'm going to get more into detail about Willow. Very interesting character, so again, be on the lookout for that. But I think that's going to conclude today's video. Let me know your predictions down below on chapter 2. I'm really looking forward to it, but thank you all so much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, feel free to leave a like and share it. Also, feel free to subscribe for more, and if you're new, and if you want to show your further support to me, you can always use star code BIGB2 when purchasing Robux or Premium, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!